Hello, everybody. My name's George. I've been around for 25 years on NLIS. So when it first started back in 1999, I've seen a lot of changes going through the system. So hopefully I can show you what currently is available. I know Elizabeth mentioned we are upgrading the system, so it's going to be bigger, better, and faster. So we'll go through a few things today. Firstly, how to log in, pretty basic, but we've added a new feature to log in. So we're going to log in via My MLA. So we click on this button here, which means you need to set up a My MLA account. I won't show you how to set up a My MLA account, but all you need is an email address and you create your own password. So create a My MLA account, and the advantage of doing that is you can link all your other accounts together. So just an email address, password when you first sign up. Click on login, and then you can link all your accounts that MLA have a control over. And here are some of them here. So LPA, NLIS, which we'll go through today, MSA, genetics, EMBD, and my feedback. Today we'll go into NLIS only. So we click on continue to NLIS. And this page also has a few dashboards and a few things of interest for you. We're going to go into NLIS today, continue to NLIS. I've got two accounts linked to my account. So some of you may be agents, some of you may have a producer account and other accounts, third-party account, or maybe two producer accounts. You might have two properties, which you can link them together, by the way. But if you have separate accounts, you can put them all through here, or just the one account, you click on the login. So I'm going to log into my producer account. I'm going to log in, and it's brought me straight into my producer account, which is what most of you will have. Now, up the top here, there's a help button. We click on that help button, help tools. And here's a list of all the tech tips available for cattle. If you change that to sheep individual, these are all the tech tips for the sheep account. So they're just links, you click on them, it opens up. Some of these are old. We're going to update several of them. Others we're just going to wait until we use the new system. Click on home again. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hide this header. There's a button over here. Just gives us more real estate, easier to observe and look at. And today we're going to go through sheep. So I want to work with sheep individual. Now, if you don't have that because you created your account years ago for cattle only, under this list, I want to, right up the top is the account management, and you want to change your livestock type. So change my types of livestock. Let go. And now I can, if I didn't have these, I could add that on or remove it. So leave them all ticked. We continue. And now I've got all these different species. So sheep, mob, and individual aren't different species, but they're different ways to manage the system. So sheep individual is the main focus. So EID for sheep, and that's where we're going to go. One of the questions that came in, a pre-registration question came in, was how do you set an animal to dead? So they find an animal that's died on farm. So that's the first thing I'll show you. So I go, I want to, and here's the list of all the things you can do on the system. Now it's broken up into 3 sections. Up here is the account management, changing your email address or adding species like I just showed you. So the beauty about editing your account details is having your email up to date. So we can inform you about webinars like this. And if an animal is moved on or off your property, we notify you in some circumstances. So it's good to keep your details up to date. Then there's notifying the database of. Sometimes that's called the doing part. So you're actually making a change to data. You're changing, and by changing, I mean you're moving animals on or off your property, or what I'm going to show you now, set an animal to deceased. And then the third section is running reports. So that's the doing, and that's the viewing with the V. That's the viewing part, and that's the doing part. Today we'll go through notify the database of device status, or last ever died on property. So we select this one, click go. We're going to type in the details on screen. And you simply enter the tag number in here. And I've just copied one. This is my test data. So there's the tag number. I've got 2 properties linked to this account. So click on this one, QBZZ, and we found this animal dead yesterday. You continue. It's asking to confirm you're about to record the following livestock died on the property. You go send. And that's it. So the job's done. There's an upload ID, which is your receipt number. Elizabeth mentioned that earlier. So you have a receipt number to say, this is when I did this particular function. That is, I set that one animal to deceased. Now you can, if you've got a scanner, you can scan as many tags that on the animals that have died. If there's only 1 or 2, you can handwrite them. Now we're going to see the outcome of this. So that's the upload ID or receipt number. If we click on View My Transaction History, and I'll show you this again when I do the transfer, but click on View My Transaction History. Continue. This is what we've done today. This is showing me all the things I've done in my account today. Most of you, that can be 1 or 2 things. So this one I just did. There's the time, 9:36 here in Sydney. And it's got complete, which means it's gone through successfully. No problem with that file, no problem with that action that I've done, which is to kill off an animal. So we go home again. Now we're going to get another list of tags. We're going to use these tags. So you can copy. I'm just simply doing Control C, which is to copy those tag numbers. Move on to the next part of the session, which is you want to transfer livestock that are moved onto your property. And it's this really long one here: sheep, goat, SA camelids. SA camelids are South American camelids, which is your alpacas and llamas. So they're all put in the same transfer or transaction. And remembering, once again, Elizabeth said it's your responsibility when you're receiving animals. You know, those on-farm auctions don't do it. Auctions Plus and Marketplace and eBay and all those places, they don't do the transfer. So again, we're going to do it on screen. How would you like to record the movement? We're going to type details on screen. Here's a list of tags. Now you notice there's, and Elizabeth did show you this as well, there's the ones with letters and numbers, and there's just pure numbers. The pure numbers are the microchip or the chip number inside the tag. These ones, the QBZZ, that's the number printed on the outside of the tag. You can use either one. You don't use both for the same e-tag, you only use one. I'm just putting them both here so you can see what they look like. What pick are you moving them to? Again, I've got 2 properties linked to this account. I'm moving them to my second property. I'm moving these animals between my 2 properties. So this is going to my QD ZZ3333 coming off this property. So I've got both properties. Again, it's my responsibility to do it, whether I own both, but as the receiver, I need to do this. I think the last thing Elizabeth mentioned was entering in a NVD serial number, so I'll enter one in. They moved today. Now there's 10 tag numbers, but there's 15 head. And the reason is you only have to identify electronically sheep born after the 1 January. So you have it. And if you do this afterwards, so if you do this on the 10th of January and you're buying in animals, or maybe 10th of July next year, you're buying animals in, some have an electronic tag and some don't because they were born different years. You put the head count there. And that's the difference. So this is incorporating 2 transactions in one. It's actually given us a mob-based movement of 15 head that moved from this QD ZZ3333 the QB, ZZ, 2222. Now 15 head, but these are the 10 individual tag numbers. Again, we can continue, and it's going to give us that same confirmation as it always does. This is what you're about to do. So there's a list of tags from property to property, and I hit send. Again, give me confirmation. This time it's giving me 3 numbers, a little bit confusing. This is the original upload, so I just did on screen, and it's broken up into 2 separate files. This is the 10 individual tag numbers, and this is the mob of 15. When I said number of head moved 15. We'll click on the same thing, view my transaction history. What we did today, and we've got the full, that's the first one I showed you, 779, that's the 2-in-1. Then we've got the individual ones and the mob-based. As you see, manual mob-based movement. And this is the manual P2P, the individual tag numbers. It's got an error. So we click on the error, it's a link, and it tells us these tags are already on the property, so we can't move them. So they're already here, you can't move them here twice. So we put errors in so you can see what they look like. We close that screen. Part of the LPA audit, they may ask you for upload IDs, give you confirmation of have you done. At an LPA audit, they'll say you haven't done this transfer, complete the transfer and provide us with the upload ID. So you make sure you provide them with the relevant upload ID. In this case here, it's this individual one. Well, they may say recall the whole 15, then you give them this one. So keep a record of the upload IDs, give them all 3, it's not going to hurt. So upload the whole file and put it in the tags and the number of head. And it's as simple as that. Click on back home. Now we'll run some reports. We'll just run a basic report. Again, if you're asked to verify you bought animals onto your farm, show me that you've done the transfer, you can give them the upload ID. But if someone's done on your behalf and you can't get the upload ID, you can just run a report that says view devices on my property. There we go. And you're going to see what's moved onto this property. So livestock transferred onto PIC. Then we'll look at what's moved on this property. QD ZZ3333. They're the tags we uploaded just now. So in that there was more than 5, but remembering the others errored out. So there's the upload we did, confirming that's what I just did today. That was the NBD serial number we used, and there's the tags. You can take this date back. So looking at what's happened, say, on the 1st of July, 32 head. Sometimes these reports run instantly, like they are now. This is the live system. Sometimes they run within milliseconds. Sometimes they can take 2 or 3 seconds, or sometimes every 20, 30 seconds, depending on other activity going on at the same time. Elizabeth mentioned, you can't break the system, so have a play and use a short date range first, and then go further and further and further. All these fields are sortable, so you want to look at animals that you bought only in a specific date. You can sort by movement date. So click on the yellow box up here, the yellow heading, movement date, and it's sorted. Click it again, and it's sorted in highest to lowest this time. Notice up here says there's 32, showing 1 of 20 only. There you go, all, and there's the whole list. So easy to sort, and you can change the species. You'll see all these species. Okay, now there's 118. There was 32 a second ago. This is now getting this cattle. You click on all. Now it gives cattle and sheep. So it's all sorted in. You sort by date, and you can actually export this data, export any fields. If you only want the electronic number, you can. So click export. You just want the electronic number because you want to put it into your software system, or you want to visually read the tag, or both. You hit submit and you can save that on your own hard drive, put it into software if you want. So that's about it for me. As I said, you can run these reports, and Elizabeth mentioned a few times, run these reports. They're pretty easy to run. You won't break the system. If you go back a long time, it may take a lot longer to run the report. So it's gone 118 to 297. So that's a 1 year's worth of data. 2 years worth of data. As you see, it comes up very quickly, but sometimes it is slow. I was doing a demonstration last week and it took about a minute to come up, just depending on the traffic at the time. So when you buy animals, if you buy animals from a sale yard, it's their responsibility, but check anyway. It always helps to check.